Hello guys, I am back from another video, and yes, I am back from my whole rest week. So they were talking about a brand new series called What If Deku Was a Ghost? So let us begin. So in this What If, Izuku's well Izuku has a sister in this one. Izuku's sister is Eri, and yes, they're gonna be biological siblings. So, Izuku, well, was in the living room playing with Eri. Inko and Asashi were just basically talking as they heard, a strange sound. That sounded weird. It sounds like fire. As they see a villain. That villain has some sort of fire quirk. Asashi tries to protect them, but Asashi gets burned alive. As for Inko, Inko got shot by another villain, as both Izuku and Eri were brought to a white van. As they were taken away, both Izuku and Eri were knocked out. So yeah, that's what happened. So during their whole when they got knocked out, they woke up in some sort of large facility as they see a man in front of them. That man has a weird looking coat. That coat is basically just well he basically has a green jacket with some sort of collar, this fluffy collar that's color purple. Also to be He's also wearing some sort of play doctor type mask as he says this. So you must be the kids that have the ability to use this rewind quirk. Alright, bring the boy. As one of these goons of his basically start bringing Izuku to another room where he's tied down. Izuku has a similar quirk to Eri, but it's a little bit weaker. And because of that, when they found out about Izuku's quirk being a little bit better, they just ignored it as they started the experiment. They started cutting him and cutting him, trying to get all of the it's basically what happens to Eri in canon, where her quirk is being used to make quirk canceling bullets. But when Izuku was getting ready to get healed, it kind of fails. It causes his skin to basically discolor. So it happened for a month now, as when it's basically that time again where he's going to be getting his whole session. As in session, I mean getting his a part of his flesh or his blood into quirk destroying bullets. So in this process, Izuku gets cut again, but during the process, Izuku basically dies. Eri is watching this. When she saw that, she was sad. She became mad and said this, You monsters! You killed my brother!" As wait for a second. As Overhaul says this, "Shut up. Now, because your brother's dead, I guess it's your turn." So she was brought to that room, and she was being experimented instead. So yeah, a few weeks have gone by after Izuku's death. So allow me to show you what happened to Izuku after those few weeks. Izuku's in this weird It looks like the void. Just nothing. It's completely dark. Just darkness. And Izuku's just floating. Until Izuku sees this light. As Izuku goes towards the light, this light, well, apparently Izuku's in heaven. Izuku was brought before God himself, aka Yahweh. As Yahweh says this, so, you must be Izuku Midoriya. Interesting. So, he starts going through a gigantic scroll. As he says this, "Eh, you had a terrible death. Look, kid, how about this? How about you try and get your revenge?" So, Izuku says this. Wait, get my revenge? Uh, what are you talking about? Who are you? I says this. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Call me Yahweh, the god of this world. Or at least just one of the gods. The other ones are just, well, in other universes, unfortunately. As Zika says this, your god? As he says this, yes. And it seems that you died a horrible death. So, in the words of my other of the other god that I just met last time, how about this? Do you try and defeat them? As in defeat them, I mean talking about getting your revenge. As Izuku says this, getting my revenge? As he says this, yes, getting your revenge. He crosses his legs a little bit as he says this. You will gain power that is even greater than a quirk. The powers of mana. Ezekiel says this. Mana, like magic? As he says this. Yes. Not only that, you will have the ability to defeat anybody that tries to hurt your little sister and you. So, in the words of my annoying brother, let's bring a show. As he brings out, well, a gigantic staff that is about the size of, well, let's just say about the size of like three fully grown adult men. As he says this, alright, let us first fix you up a little bit. Izuku looks at his arms and Izuku says this. Oh yeah, my arms are just nothing more than just bones. As he says this, don't worry. So, he twirls the gigantic staff as his flesh starts regrowing. But when Izuku looks at them, they look like, well, metal. As God says this, or Yahweh, I'm sorry, Izuku, but unfortunately, I can't bring your regular old arms back. So, you're just gonna be having these metal-ish arms. And Izuku says this. Yes. So, as Yahweh says this. Good. But before you can, well, leave, I was gonna take a while. Just to be frank. Izuku says this. Gonna take a while. As he says this, yeah, unfortunately, my brother has jammed the Isekai, wait for a second, the Isekai highway. It's, just let me, explain a little bit. It's, the Isekai highway, it's actually a part of my, a part of a story that I made many years ago. The Isekai highway is just, it's basically where like heroes basically just go to other worlds. Like for example, just imagine like what's his name? the character from like I can't remember his name because it's been a long time since I watched that anime. It's basically just like like how the main character of I got um in a strange world with my smartphone. I think it was called in a strange world with my smartphone. It's basically like that where like people that are basically dead or accidentally got killed by gods basically start going to to different worlds to be be reborn. That is why I call it the Isekai Highway. That is why I also made my own like AU, I guess I can call it, where like the because the whole trope of like isekai is basically weirded me out, and that is why I basically explained that in my AU basically. So yeah, back to the story. As Izuku says this, Isekai Highway, your brother, as he says this, yeah, unfortunately, because he's a complete a-hole, he forgotten to well finish all of his work, and because of that, the Isekai Highway was locked. Fortunately, I got something much more accessible for you. Izuku says this, accessible. So Izuku was brought to this gigantic this gigantic looking gate. Two angels appear as they said this. Oh, Master Yahweh, I'm really sorry. As Yahweh says this, um, this says Izuku. As Yahweh says this, what do you mean by As he says this, what is that? Is that a gate? What we're supposed to do here? As Yahweh says this is the gate of reincarnation. Unfortunately, it was broken, but I can still kind of work it, so it's gonna take long, but don't worry, you can just stay here in heaven for a while now. As Izuka says this, um, thank you. As he says this, alright, you can just go to Cherub City for now. For now, I'll just tell my other architectures to basically, fix it a little bit. So, God, aka Yahweh, starts going into his pockets as he brings out a phone. He says this, hey, Solar Architects. As he's basically talking, he goes to, as in, he starts going, I'm talking about Izuku. Izuku starts going to, Cherub City, where Izuku's basically staying for now. So, yeah. So, after a day, it's finally time for him to basically go back to the human realm, but as a guardian angel or ghost. So after Izuku's night at Cherub City, Izuku was brought to Yahweh again. As Yahweh says this, here Izuku, you're finally going back to your human world, or the realm of the mortals. Izuku says this, thank you for your hospitality, Sir Yahweh. As he says this, don't worry. Anyway, your form shall be changed because of this. Izuku says this, what do you mean by changed? As Yahweh brings out the staff, as something starts happening to Izuku. So, Izuku's hair starts turning a little bit gray. One of Izuku's eyes start turning blood red with a little bit of purple. Wait for a second. As Izuku's face starts changing as well. Izuku gets several stitches on his face. Izuku gets several stitches on his face. As Izuku says this, whoa, what happened to me? Why do I feel metal on my face? As God, aka, sorry, as God, aka Yaoi says this. Well, I decided to change her face because, Those scars might be uncomfortable. Izuku says this. Thank you, I guess. So, when the gates open, Izuku says this. Thank you, Mr. Yaoi. I will be at your well. I will come back when I truly feel happy to be at death. As Yaoi says this. Why thank you. Now, go back to your world. I think that your sister's probably in trouble. Izuku says this. Eri! Izuku starts going into the gate as Izuku comes back. It's been like, well, a few years. Eri is now, a bit older. As in older, I mean, she's about, she's 15. So, sorry about that. So, when Izuku comes back to that world, Izuku is completely naked. Izuku's brand new abilities are Izuku's able to basically transform into into this more demonic form which God created for him in case of fighting or if the enemy is pretty dangerous. Not only that, Izuku's able to turn invisible. As in turn invisible, I mean Izuku's able to make anybody see him or not. Like for example, if Izuku were to transform allow well let Eri see him, well it doesn't mean that anybody can literally see him. Like for example, if he allows like Eri to see him, well others can see Izuku because he only allows it with Eri. So yeah. So Izuku into goes and tries to find Eri. I meant Izuku tries to find Eri. Izuku sees Eri. Eri is completely different. Izuku says this. Eri, she's older. Eri is about to be experimented on by by Overhaul again. As Overhaul says this. Alright, I need I need more bullets, so hurry up immediately, Doctor. I says this. Right. So, he's about to, rip Eri apart just like Izuku. Izuku says this. I'm not allowing you to hurt her anymore. As the lights basically, flicker on and off, the entire room starts getting a little bit confused. As, Overhaul says this. Did anybody pay the electric bill or not? As one of the goons says this. I just paid the electric bill last time. As when he stopped while talking, well, Overhaul just looks back as he sees something terrifying. He sees Izuku alive, but not really? A question mark? As, Overhaul says this. What the? Izuku, I thought you were dead. Izuku says this. You hurt me. As his metal claws start clawing at the, or at least like grabbing onto the wall as it starts creating sparks. As Izuku says this, you hurt my little sister just because you want those quirk canceling bullets. What scum! As Izuku grabs a large looking weapon. The weapon looks like some sort of sickle, but it has like some sort of trigger on the back of it. As Izuku uses it, as it slices a bit of Overhaul's face, he's terrified. As he starts running away, Izuku breaks the glass. As Izuku allows Eri to see him. At the time when he was fighting with Overhaul, or at least like terrifying him, Izuku allows Overhaul to see him because he wanted to see Overhaul's face, his face when he saw Izuku. the boy that he literally killed, the person or the kid that he, well, tortured. When Eri saw Izuku, Eri is astonished. Not only that, she's terrified because she thought that Izuku died. The doctor says this, huh? Why are you scared? As sh- when he saw the window break, he says this, what the heck? As the gigantic weapon, it slices a bit of his face, as in a bit, I mean a lot. It literally just slices like literally like on the side of his face, like where the eye is. Because of that, it show after slicing him, it shows a bit of his brain. As Eri says this, Izuku, is that really you? Sister, are you okay? Did overall hurt you? As she says this, yeah. As she shows Izuku her scars. As Izuku says this, that bastard. As Izuku grabs the lab coat of the scientist and wears it as his brand new clothing. So Izuku starts going throughout the facility and starts killing every single member of Overhaul's gang. Overhaul escapes as Izuku brings Eri to Izuku brings Eri to the exit of the facility, seeing it burning because Izuku at the time there, Izuku just opened some sort of like gas leak as Izuku turns on a lighter. At the time, it started exploding the facility. The facility is also on fire at that time as well. As Izuku says this, Eri, let's go. As Eri says this, so it's finally we're finally free. But Izuku, what happened to you? Izuku explains what happened. Actually says this. Really? Izuku says this. Really? Ashi says this. Huh. I guess there is a god. So yeah. So they see a forest nearby as they decide to move there. So yeah. So that will be the end of this episode. So yeah. So I hope you like this series and I hope you like the video. Comment and subscribe and I hope to see you guys next time. Just if you want to comment down below what ship is going to be for Izuku, just comment down below immediately because I don't have a ship for Izuku yet. So yeah, so goodbye.